Hey guys, we are back and ready to do another tutorial. Today's tutorial is just simple turquoise. We've done it a couple of times as some big pieces. We've done some as time lapses and whatnot. And for those who don't learn through time lapses and whatnot, I wanted to do an actual tutorial of them. So I've got a whole bunch of blues here, green. It just kind of depends on what color turquoise you want to do as to what you pick out. I've got a brown, my gray, and a black for our shadows and some of our veining. I'm using Caran Supracolors, which is a watercolor pencil, but you can use them wet or dry. They work great both ways. So let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead and use these lighter blues, I think, and some of our green. So this is turquoise, blue jean, and grass green, in case you wanted to know. Like I said, it doesn't really matter because you can choose whatever colors you want. And I'm going to pick that my light comes up here. So this will be the lightest part of the gem. And the shadow will be on the opposite side because a turquoise is an opaque stone and not translucent like a gem would be. Now, Supracolors are a watercolor pencil, so they are not oil or wax based. They are actually, I believe it's like a clay base that is water soluble. So, because I mean they're basically watercolors in a hard form, pencil form. So I'm just gonna put down a really nice base coat here of this color. Because it's going to get darker as we go. If you want a much lighter turquoise, then use lighter colors or even add white to it as you go as well. And then I'm going to start adding in some shadow. So I'm going to pick up my gray. And remember, I want my shadow here. So I'm going to bring my gray starting up here and go gently down this way. I'm going to use a little bit more pressure over here and the lighter pressure as I come out so that it has a nice gradiating effect. When you put shadows and light and highlights on things, that's telling your eye that this is a 3D image and not a 2D image that it's seeing. That's why shading and highlights is so important, because the way your eyes interact with light is how you see everything and how you see in 3D. So as long as you can place those where they should be, then you'll have something that begins to look three-dimensional to your eye. Now we're going to go in and start using a different blue because I just want areas to be different colors, because you've got that gradating look throughout a lot of turquoise pieces where you've got a transition from the blues to greens to everything. So I want different spots on here to be different blues. And you can see that this is very, very rough because I am using watercolor paper. And these are very soft pencils. With Prismacolors or Polychromos, you would also see the paper kind of texture like this, and you would need to do a lot more layers. With this, we will just be blending with water. So, with Polychromos or Prismacolors, you could blend with, odorless mineral spirits or a blender stick, or however your favorite way to blend is. I'm gonna go ahead and add some greens in here as well. Now, I've just got a little bit of water over here for blending purposes. We're going to start in some of the lightest parts. I'm just going to go over it gently. This is a very soft brush that I'm using. And I'm not using a ton of water, I just want to get enough to get the pigment activated, or get the the watercolor activated. So we can blend this all in. And obviously this is a little bit quicker than using Polychromos or Prismacolors, because I don't have to do 300 layers with, those in order to make it really, really nice and smooth. But I've just been using these lately, and I really, really am just enjoying them. That is all. Normally, I would be using my Polychromos because those are some of my absolute favorite pencils to use. They have such a rich feel to them. I am not a huge fan of Prismacolors. They're soft and they do get really, really great results, but for me, there's oftentimes a lot of breakage and some other issues, and I'm not a huge fan of super, super soft pencils. So I prefer an oil base, which is a little bit harder and has a better, a more translucent effect to it. So there we have that. Now I want to let that dry a little bit. You can always go in and do more with watercolor pencils and watercolors, but you do need to let it dry in between. Otherwise, you block up a little bit too much of the tooth of the paper, and you can't add any more when they are dry. So I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to start edging this in black while I wait. It doesn't take long for this to dry sufficiently for us to do more on it. So I just want to give it a moment. I haven't tried a whole lot of watercolor pencils. I've tried some. I've tried the Prismacolor watercolor pencils, the Derwent ink tents. I've tried I want to say they were, I can't think of the name of them, but there was a couple others that I've tried as well, and the Caran Supracolors are my favorite. mostly because of the fact that you can use them dry or wet and still end up with a really good effect in the end. So all right, that's definitely sufficient to continue working on. Let's add some. Ooh, that's me pushing too hard. See, these are soft too. Cracks in here. My thing to do with cracks is I like to just kind of push the pencil around, doing straight things. I don't like my cracks to be like really, like, I like them to be very jagged, but that's just my preference. You can do your cracks however you would like them, obviously. Do like a little cluster of them up here. Do some more over here. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to kind of put a second layer on here of the colors. Get everything a little evened out, I think, a bit. Give it quite a nice uniform feel. I kind of like it lighter up here because that's where we're gonna put our highlight anyway. Try not to go over my cracks too much, but you can. It's not gonna hurt them. See? Going to kind of enforce my shadow, reinforce, I should say. Just a bit. And you can make it darker if you feel like it needs to turn more or look like it's turning more. I like the way that it is, and I'm just going to put my slightly darker blue over it to kind of blend it in there. Bring this almost as an extension of the shadow. I'm going to bring it up and around. Give it that slightly darker edge. Just like that. And now I've got, let's see, usually I have, there it is, my white gouache right over here, which is definitely my favorite way to do highlights. It's just taking a bit of white gouache, especially when I'm working with watercolors or watercolor pencils. and putting my highlight right up here. You can also use a gel pen. You could use a Post-it pen if you have one of those. Those work great for highlights. And I like to do some other like little highlights running around the edge, because oftentimes, as shiny as these cabochons get, you have light coming from multiple angles, and you kind of want to catch some of those running around on the top of the cabochon, just like that. I'm going to go back to my other brush because I really want to edge this and get the edge smooth real quick, because I feel like that will give it a nice finished look. And there we have it. We have our finished turquoise. And turquoise is one of my favorites to draw and to paint and to play with, as far as gems go. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you go do your own. And I'll see you next time. Talk to you later. Bye.